Belarusian Olympic sprinter Krystsina Tsimanouskaya has flown out of Japan. Leaving from Tokyo Airport Wednesday morning, she reportedly switched flights at the last minute and travelled to the Austrian capital, Vienna. It's believed her final destination is Poland, where she is seeking protection after avoiding a forced return to Belarus. The 24-year-old athlete says she fears being punished after criticising her coaches at the Tokyo Games. Let's bring in Pavel Latushka. He's a former Belarusian government minister and diplomat. He's now a prominent critic of President Lukashenko's regime, and he's living in Poland. Thanks for joining us. Mr. Latushka, Krystsina Tsimanouskaya has refused to go back to Belarus and is now on her way to Vienna, perhaps Warsaw. I understand you are planning to greet her there at the airport. What can you tell us about her motivation for this move?
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to confirm that today night we received information that Krystsina Tsimanouskaya changed her arrival to Warsaw. She will be in Warsaw today night. So the reason is the security measures. As I understand from our diaspora in Tokyo, two diplomats accompany her to Warsaw. But the situation with Krystsina Tsimanouskaya, when just for the slight criticism of the coach's decision, she is subjected to repression. Being forced to leave the Olympic area is one of the numerous examples of repressions used by the regime against the Belarusians, activists, and Belarusian citizens. For example, the West European press writes about Belarus when a dictator forces the plane of Ryanair with Protasevich, when Tsimanouskaya Krystsina is forced to leave Tokyo, when Vitaly Shishov is married in Kyiv yesterday. But you're not informed about many examples of repressions against the Belarusian people every day.
Tsimanouskaya, so you're saying she's escaping repression there. She's one of hundreds of sports figures, apparently, who signed an open letter, I understand, calling for new elections in Belarus and for political prisoners there to be freed. What effect is, if any, is that kind of pressure having on President Lukashenko's regime?
First of all, I'd like to confirm that more than 40,000 people were arrested, detained in the territory of Belarus during last year. Many of them tortured. It is thousands of people tortured. So Belarusian people is still struggling. It is a question, is the most important question, when we will receive this result and how Europe can react on these examples of the tortures and murders of Belarusian activists abroad also.
Okay, stay with us for a moment, if you would, because there's another story about a Belarusian dissident I'd like to get your take on. A Ukrainian-based activist from Belarus was found hanged in a park near his home in the capital, Kyiv, early on Tuesday. Shishov led an organization that helps Belarusians fleeing persecution.
Vitaly Shishov left Belarus last year after participating in widespread anti-government protests. In his new home in Ukraine, he helped fellow Belarusians who had fled their country find work and housing. Although he had gotten out, some who knew him say he still lived in fear. Shishov had recently told friends and colleagues that he felt like he was being followed by strangers on his morning runs, which took him through this park in Kyiv. A day after he was reported missing, his body was found hanging from a tree. What I would like to outline for now, Vitaly and his girlfriend repeatedly saw strangers watching them, sometimes from inside cars. Ukrainian police say they are investigating whether his death was suicide or murder disguised to look like it. The head of the national police said Shishov had scratches on his nose and body that could indicate a fall. Belarus's opposition leader is one of many awaiting the outcome of the investigations.
I'd prefer to wait for results of investigation because I understand the background of this death I would say it was crime, but I can't say it without any results of investigation.
Alexander Lukashenko's government has shown it will use force against its opponents. Earlier this year, the Belarusian president ordered the forced landing of a civilian flight in order to arrest a dissident journalist. In the past month, his government has carried out more than 200 raids on activists and journalists and arrested dozens. Even outside of Belarus, activists may have reason to fear for their safety.
So many questions surrounding the death there of that young Belarusian activist, Vitaly Shishov. Mr. Latushka, what's your take on that?
It's not a first example. We know about the other facts. Several years ago in Kyiv were killed the very famous Belarusian journalist Pavel Sheremet. And we have an information, it was published, that in KGB it is created a special fund by the decision of the Mr. Lukashenko, €1.5 million to create a special structure which will organize killing of the political activists abroad. Also, we have information that this year in January, in the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Belarus, it was created a special group, 40 officers of the GRU, GRU, yes, and they are planning also to organize terroristic attacks abroad. Lukashenko personally said it many times that he will punish all who are against of him. So it's politically, I suppose it is a politically motivated matter.
Okay, just one quickly, if you can. Many Belarusians have fled the political situation back home and found sanctuary abroad, especially in Poland, where you are, and in Ukraine. How safe are they?
Oh, we are guests in Europe. We are guests of Poland and Ukraine. And of course, we hope that the government of these countries, they are hosting us and they will help us in the questions of security.
Okay. Pavel Latushka, former Belarusian government minister, thank you for speaking with us today.
Thank you.